Jury deliberations enter day 3 in the Alex Jones, Connecticut defamation trial.
Yeah, the jury will decide how much the conspiracy theorists will have to pay the families of Sandy Hook victims for spreading lies about the 2012 tragedy.
So Channel 3 Eyewitness reporter Marcy Jones is live outside Waterbury Superior Court right now. Marcy, good morning. Break it down for us.
Good morning. Well, this Connecticut trial is number 2 out of 3 for Alex Jones to kind of figure out exactly how much he's going to owe plaintiffs for damages. And as you can imagine, the last few weeks have gotten pretty contentious. Previously, a Texas jury ordered Jones to pay $50 million to one Sandy Hook family. In the last few weeks, Connecticut jury members heard from plaintiffs about how much pain and suffering the InfoWars host caused them after Jones lied about the elementary school shooting to his large and active following. Meanwhile, Jones and his attorney argued that Jones never intentionally put a target on the victims' families, also insinuating that the lawsuits against Jones are more motivated by money and politics.
They have real stories, they've been building real lives, they have real identities that really matter.
Deliberations will continue this morning. Make sure to follow us on air, online, and on our Channel 3 app for the latest updates. Reporting live in Waterbury, Marcy Jones, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.